Dr. Charlotte Nobles, an internationally recognized professor, educator, consultant, and public speaker. Dr. Noble has worked and held public speaking engagements in 5 countries over the past 30 years. She holds a BA and MA from the California University in English Language Development and a PhD from Shaftesbury University of England in Leadership and Management Studies. Dr. Noble has an extensive professional background covering the educational sector and business arenas, working as a teacher, principal, textbook author, director, and corporate manager for the past 40 years. Of the many awards of distinction received, Dr. Noble is most proud of being recognized as the Professor of the Year 3 years consecutively at the UCLA, University of California. Further to her professional career, Dr. Noble has earned the title of Distinguished Toastmaster, whom I can tell you it's something that's really distinguished and great to have, in the International Toastmaster Organization for Public Speaking in 1985. And once again in 1997, Dr. Noble is also certified trainer for Stephen Covey's 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, and is frequently requested as a keynote speaker at conferences and conventions for various organizations. So without further ado, I would like to introduce Dr. Charlotte Noble.
Thank you very much. You know, you listen to an introduction like that, and you say, where is this person? It's really an interesting aspect about hearing about what you've done. Because in my life, years go by, and all of a sudden, now that I'm 100 years old, I look at this time and say, wow, I've really done a lot. I think that it's an exciting time. I find that, and I'm very, very happy to have the opportunity to share a little bit with you. Tonight we have been talking about a very special word. You probably have all heard it, you probably have known it, because there is nothing new in the world now. We know everything. We just relabel it as something else, or we modify it, or we change it, so to fit whatever need we have. But we're talking about the word synergy. In everything that we have done in this evening, synergy has been the focus. And the definition that I like to use, or the one that I think is most common, is the fact that the whole is stronger than the individual parts. It's where we have the 1 + 1 = 3. I think sometimes it's helpful for us to go back and review. We get caught up in our everyday existence of doing things that are complex, that are very diverse, that take a lot of, that often we end up with more stress. However, it's the simple things that we want to keep. Synergy is a very simple concept, and it is the foundation of what this organization is trying to do. If you take 2 plants, and I was going to bring plants and forgot them. If you take 2 plants and you plant them closely together, and their roots will commingle, that will do 2 things. It will enrich the soil more, and it will make the plant stronger. And as I hear people talking tonight, that's what I believe that it is important that we have, is going back to the simple idea, I cannot do this alone, I am stronger with others. However, there's a couple of things that we need to really be aware of, and I believe particularly in Egypt. I've been in Egypt now 5 years. I retired as working through a university, decided that I was tired of working with American students. They didn't want to do homework, and they didn't want to do all that stuff that you hear many students talking about. And so I said, oh, I'm going to go just enjoy life. And came to Egypt, not necessarily by my own choice, but it was a message that I was to be here. And when I came to Egypt, found the need so strongly that they needed, first of all, they needed English taught correctly to them. I felt that was very important. And starting with something very small, it has now grown into something very large. And I'm very, very grateful for the opportunity to have worked with a different culture, as we were talking earlier about working with schools and working with people with diverse backgrounds. One of the things when you are dealing with synergy, and you know synergy is really energy. Energy in action. But we have to take a look at valuing differences. And I want to focus on that just a few minutes. How do you relate, and what kinds of things do you think about when you meet someone who disagrees with you totally? Now, most of the time, and I'm sure not anyone here, I'm sure we would not say, well, I'm right and they're wrong. We would never say that in a professional setting, would we? No. However, in the back of our little minds, we're saying, you know, he's right. I'm right and he's wrong. And oftentimes that thought causes difficulty. Now, there are three things that influence how people relate to things, how they behave. It is their perception or their paradigm. And paradigm meaning their way of thinking about something, their belief about that, and their attitude. If they see life from a negative aspect, and you've all heard the situation where the glass is half filled or half empty, you know, that scenario. You have people that will often see things from the avenue that it doesn't matter what happens in their life, it is negative. That creates negative energy. And oftentimes you can walk into a room, you can walk into a setting and feel that energy. You don't even have to know what the discussion is because it emanates very strongly. Every aspect, every atom, every physical aspect has a vibration to it. We have much research now on that. We can measure the rate of vibration on someone who is sad versus someone who is happy. And it registers differently. There's much research that's been done in that area. So if you walk into a negative setting, you immediately can feel that. Oftentimes you don't know why that's there. But it is an important thing to be aware of because it will sap your energy from you. It will literally take the energy right out of your system when that happens. And you may not even physically be aware of that. But it does eat you up, we call it, in a harmful way. Not only health-wise, for blood pressure, stress activities, and if you want to know what it really does physically, check with Dr. Ibrahim because she knows all the details about all of that part. Because she will often say to me, I can tell you're stressed. This muscle right here is twitching. And so, you know, we learn many things about ourselves when we are involved with people who have differences from what we are. When I think about the differences that I've had to adjust to when I came to Egypt, I'm from Los Angeles, California. I'm sure you've all seen movies about Los Angeles. And you know, some of it is true and some of it is some exaggerated. However, I was a principal in a very violent area and lived through it and have come out a stronger person as a result of that experience. However, when I came to Egypt, I didn't know the culture. I didn't know anything about Egypt except they had pyramids. I did have some contact with my close friends who went ahead being an Egyptian, so I did learn learn a little bit.